Good evening. Call to order the West Jordan Planning Commission meeting for February 3rd, 2015. We do have all 7 members of the commission present. A motion on the table from Commissioner Jacob.
Sorry, I just missed the white
just
accident, but I will go ahead and move to approve the consent calendar if you
Look
like.
at that, we're moving right along here. The motion to approve the consent calendar, which is the minutes from our January 20th meeting.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jacob, second by Commissioner Pack. Any discussion of the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Which brings us to our one and only public hearing this evening, which is the Cadco Horizon Assisted Living Center, 7448 to 7490 South Redwood Road, a future land use map amendment for 4.04 acres from professional office and high-density residential designation to a very high-density residential designation and rezoning from R18 and PO to R312 with the senior housing overlay. That's a mouthful. It does not appear that our applicant is present. Are they planning to join us this evening?
They're aware of the meeting, so they may just be running late.
Okay. Would you like to start with the staff report then, and we'll see if they make it in the next few minutes?
Members of the Planning Commission, just to orient you with the site, this is located just north of here on Redwood Road, just by the Majestic Elementary School. There's a 4-acre park, piece of property that's located right here. It's currently vacant, and all 4 of the lots will front onto Redwood Road. At some point in the future, they will be developing the site as an assisted living facility, and the request that's before you is to rezone the property and to change the future land use map to be able to accommodate that facility. The applicants provided you with a kind of a description of what's intended for the site in the future, but again, tonight's focus is just on the rezoning and the future land use mapping. This is what's on the table. We've got R18A zoning, which is here, and the south part of the property is actually zoned professional office. I think that was done to accommodate a use that was never developed on the property. To the south there's a veterinarian clinic that's here. So again, this property is located here, and again, the request is to rezone the property from professional office in that R18A to an R312 SHO. The SHO is senior housing overlay, and that's what it will accommodate. The second item on for tonight is an amendment to the future land use map. Currently, the properties designated on that map is high density residential for the north 2 parcels, professional office for the south 2 parcels. As I mentioned in the staff report, staff is now looking at, or one of the things that we're looking at is the entire Redwood Road corridor. We're also looking at the land uses along that corridor as part of that study. But we think that this just gives us an opportunity to take a look at the use on this property at this point, rather than some point down the road. They are looking at the R312 SHO fits under the very high density residential, and so what that would mean is that the future land use map would be designated as that very high density residential to accommodate that. So again, that's what's before you. This is just a keep in mind, as we talked about in the pre-meeting, this is just simply a concept plan as to how that might lay out on the lot. But we've got a long way ahead of us. We've got to go through a site plan review process, a subdivision process to be able to look at that. And we'll look at that at some point in the future. So, that's my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to.
I don't think the reroute of Redwood Road through the development is...
Just more from the label there.
Did I mess up on the labeling? Oh, yeah, sorry, it's a floater.
Well, any questions for staff?
Yes.
Commissioner Skoski.
I do have a question. So SHO zoning would encompass all of what's within the red boundary.
Yes.
So everything inside there would have to be the assisted living facilities.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Jacob?
Thank you. I have one question, and that is the fascinating shape of the school properties. Do we know exactly how, why, where, what the thought process was as far as, I understand building schools back off of a street like Redwood Road is probably a good idea. However, it's just a little unconventional.
Yeah, those are probably old farming tracks from years and years ago. And the schools probably just used as much property as they needed to build the facilities, and they decided just that they were going to draw the line there. They may have been subdivided before that, and that's just happened to be where those property lines ended up. So that's probably accounts for that unusual configuration.
At best, we're conjecting, is that the word? We're guessing.
Conjecture.
It's conjecture. We don't know at this point, right, what the thought was. Okay. My other question was, if we go back to the non-official, what should we call it, site plan? There we go. It just shows the parcel on the top right there as separate on the site plan. It is though part of the rezoning and.
That's correct.
Okay. So when it's subdivided, that may or may not be included somehow.
Are you with First Construction by chance?
I am. I'm the applicant. I'm sorry I'm late.
That's okay. We kind of rearranged the order of our presentations here, so the time is now yours.
I apologize. Adam Maher, First Construction, 708 West North Temple, Salt Lake City. I'm the owner and developer. And I should just say it. I'm never first on the agenda, and I'm never on a night where there's only one item. And I'm never late. So the one time I am, well, I apologize for that. I missed the presentation that staff gave, but the site plan that we had up there illustrated, I think, the idea that we're trying to put forward, where we intend to build a senior care facility that's going to be a world-class facility and offer what in the business is known as a continuum of care, which would mean that on the early phase of age-related issues in assisted living level 1, assisted living level 2, and I'm happy to elaborate on that if the council would like, and then maybe even getting into some of the memory care and the more skilled nursing type uses. Right now we just want to make sure and see what the city thinks about the use and the rezone that would be necessary to do that. We've put together, and can we go back to the site plan, is that possible? We've put together a site plan that would allow us a nice phase portion. The footprint that you see there outlined in red would have probably 25 beds on one level, and our intention would be to build it 2 levels so that you would have about a 50-bed facility that would easily fit on that footprint. You could see that to the south, we've put kind of a dashed line that would show how the facility would potentially expand if the facility went well and if the community really embraced the services. It's always hard to really guess which service is going to be the most used or needed based on West Jordan and the demographics. So we would really see that as being most likely, 4 to 5 years in the future before that would come up. And what type of beds we would expand, again, we wouldn't know if there would be more AL2 or memory care or whatnot. But as one of the commissioners was saying, what we've envisioned is doing kind of the curb cut in the middle and reserving, I think it's approximately 2.2 acres to the north, which hopefully, if the facility went really well, could be, more of a campus. Perhaps there would be the desire for people that would have independent living type units where you have apartments that don't have stairs, but that take use of some of the same nursing facilities, some of the meal preparations. We really don't know for certain yet. We paid for a feasibility study which kind of elaborated on that and said the need isn't there yet for that, but that based on national trends, that could change quite quickly. So as an operator and an owner, our interest would be to leverage the same kind of kitchen, laundry, and nursing staffing and facilities that we would already have, as it's a very easy jaunt to make someone say, hey, if they want to live on that northern parcel where they're not around people that have memory care issues and, severe problems, but they still have the benefit for those other services and don't feel like they're living around, people who they see as more disabled than themselves. So that's the real hope of the campus type layout. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that may occasion as I describe that.
Any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Sikorsky?
Just a quick question. For that north section, should the need not arise, what's your contingency plan?
You know what? I'm not really good at having those because we've done enough, we've developed enough ground to know that we never really know. We talked with staff about how the rezone would possibly, and Greg, you can tell me if I'm remembering the term wrong, that there was some kind of age-related overlay or something so we recognize the constraints that would put into it. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I could honestly answer that question. We feel that the continuum of care offers enough latitude that we're committed enough to marry ourselves to that, be it AL1, AL2, memory care. There's actually a number of other type of health-related issues that you could specialize in. One of the things that one operator has done was almost like a diabetic specialty, that they had like hyperbaric chambers, and it was kind of age-related issues, but really as they pertain to diabetes. We don't know for certain, but we are acknowledging that we're kind of committing to ourselves and to the city a pretty specific range by doing this.
Yeah, I was just curious because we're overlaying the entire parcel.
Yeah, and we recognize that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry again for being late.
This is scheduled as a public hearing, so we will go ahead and open the meeting to the public. If there's anybody who would like to comment. Seeing none, go ahead and close the meeting to the public and bring it to the commission for discussion and possible motion. Commissioner Jake.
I have one more question for the staff, if I may, for Ray. And that is, a senior housing overlay can be applied to several zoning districts, as is mentioned in our favorite finding B. Why are we looking at an R312, very high density? Does it need to be that to fit this many beds on the property, or what's the purpose of looking at R3 as opposed to say an R2 or RM or even R1?
Well, what this does is it's assisted living is kind of its own type of use. But that R312 zoning district also allows, but it's not really considered multifamily because you got shared kitchen facilities, and it's just a different kind of a thing. But we thought that under the R312 SHO, it would simply allow those densities and those setbacks that they needed for that zone, just to accommodate this use. We thought that would be the best zoning district to apply it to, rather than something that was more designed towards the art, like a duplex kind of use or a single family kind of use.
And my second question, if I may, again, my favorite finding B, which I guess days are numbered. You did mention that because of its proximity to the schools, senior housing at this location makes sense. Can you elaborate on that, why proximity to schools makes senior housing make sense?
What I was referring to that is that under the current zoning, professional office would be allowed. And what we were thinking along those lines is that with professional office, you have people, it's pretty busy. I drive that section of road every day or every morning, and that's a pretty busy intersection.
Sure.
And so if you have professional office that's on that property as well, you're going to have additional traffic that's coming in and out of there. So just overall, I think that assisted living has fewer cars that are coming in at kind of the same hours that the school is. And so based on that, we're thinking that it might have less overall impact than perhaps a professional office would have. So that's what I was talking about. That might be more compatible.
That makes a little more sense than how I was thinking. So
than how I worded it.
that's good. That's all the questions I have.
Commissioner Pack.
Just for me, I think it's a good fit there, perhaps even better than how it's currently zoned for the reasons that were just given. It seems like with the two schools set back, as Commissioner Jacobs mentioned, and this way you've got this parcel property that's fronting Redwood Road, plus it'll bring jobs into that community as the demographics of West Jordan get older. It's nice to have a facility like this. And to me, it seems like a good fit and worthy of the application that's being submitted to us.
I agree with Commissioner Mack's line of thinking there, and I like the idea that you have the additional ground to be able to add on to as they find out and think, what the market's going to bear there. I think with the aging population, me being one of them, step after I step, I think we're going to see a lot more need for these types of facilities, so I like it too, so.
You don't need to declare a conflict of interest because you're gonna move in, do you?
Just a question for staff. The parcel that's being divided on the south end, the professional office, what is the remaining space? Is that going to stay professional office?
Are you talking about down here?
Correct.
This, it's a veterinary clinic,
Oh,
it's
it's
there
veterinary.
forever, so.
Okay.
And that'll just, the zoning there will just remain.
Stays as is. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Quinn.
I'm just looking through here, and you talked about the minimal impact on the schools. What about other areas of the professional office with the veterinary office, the residential housing? Is there any kind of impact? How does that impact those zones?
I don't think it's gonna have any impact.
Do we have any kind of background on that at all? I'm just curious if there's any studies that have been done before.
No.
Oh, Thank you.
Commissioner Pat.
Oh, thanks. I know just how it is right now at Bankett. I mean, it's a little bit of an eyesore there too, and it'd be nice to get it developed. I just think it would be good. We have a family cat that we take to the veterinary clinic there, and I've done some volunteer work at the adjacent school there, and it just seems like it would be nice to get that area developed. And to me, it just kind of makes sense and just feels right, logically and aesthetically, and the traffic. So I agree, we don't want to negatively impact anybody that's currently there, but it is so interesting, as Commissioner Jacob mentioned. I've always wondered, why are the schools set back? I mean, it's safety is nice, being away from Redwood Road. They have that overpass, you have the walkway, but this will complete that area so it doesn't go to waste.
Interestingly, Redwood Road was a lot smaller when the schools were built. Not nearly as busy.
I think it might only bring good vibes to the adjacent businesses instead of being vacant land with a chain link fence around it.
Commissioner Hunter.
The property to the north, the property to the west, and okay, that's the school. To the north there, the Drake, where you see the Drake property. Is this zoning going to have impact on that? Is that the R18 there? It seems like we had a meeting about that with the Drake property. Was that rezoned to a higher density? I can't
No.
remember now.
Change the future land use map on that
We changed the future land use map to reflect
to
the
reflect the zoning.
zoning.
Okay.
It wasn't that parcel. It was further.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the farther west.
Okay, thank you.
But it was a Drake.
That's what made me wonder about it.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Thank you. That's the one thing that I'm kind of, why I asked about the R3 zone, is that an R3 zone right next to an R18 zone doesn't sit real well with me. And so that's why I was wondering about the overlay, if it could be applied to something else. Not that it doesn't make sense there on Redwood, but maybe the R18 doesn't make sense there. But that's what we have. So we're comparing, we can't deal with that. There's no application on the table for changing the R18. So we can't decide that's not a good fit, but this one is. We have to decide if this plugs into what's already there.
You're right on the R18. I just don't think it makes sense there for single family.
Right. What's the future land use map under that R18 right now? Is it medium density?
It's high density.
It is high density? Okay. It is indeed. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
That unknown section, that's where we were talking about Drake property, right? I mean, you've got Drake right above
That's the street.
the blue,
Yeah.
but, so the adjacent property just right there. Could we go back one slide, if you don't mind, please? Thank you. Or one more. Thank you. So where it says 7450, right above the red area, so that wasn't being included in the previous meeting discussion on changing the future land use for the Drake property, right? So we'll curious, just right immediately north of this property in question, because that parcel isn't developed either, right? That's just vacant there on 7450, if I remember, when you go down Drake Lane, get to their soap shop.
Yeah, it's been a while since I drove by there, but I think it is just a piece of vacant land.
That one would be vacant too. What is that?
There's like a couple of shed buildings,
Yeah.
Right, some old sheds.
small farming sheds.
And what is that zoning currently?
That's at R18. That's at R18.
Okay, right there. Okay, yeah, R18. Great, thank you.
I'm open for a motion. If there's further discussion. Commissioner Skoski.
All right, well, based on the findings set forth in the staff report and upon the evidence and explanations received today, I move that the Planning Commission forward a positive recommendation to the City Council to amend the future land use map from high-density residential and professional office to very high-density residential for approximately 4.04 acres of property generally located at 7448, 7466, 7482 and 7490 South Redwood Road.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Skoski, a second by Commissioner Rice. Any discussion to the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries 6-1. I'll make the other one as well. The second motion, if you wanted to.
Oh, yes, the second. All right, let's see, based on the findings set forth in the staff report and upon the evidence and explanations received today, I move that the Planning Commission forward a positive recommendation to the City Council to rezone approximately 4.04 acres of property generally located at 7448, 7466, 7482, and 7490 South Redwood Road from R18 Alpha, single-family residential, 8,000 square foot lot minimum, and professional office, to an R312 SHL zoning district.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Skoski, second by Commissioner Rice. Any discussion of the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries 6-1, and for those listening to the meeting, it was Commissioner Jacob who passed the negative vote for both of those motions. This is audio that's widely reviewed.
I'm sure.
I want to make that clear.
Both of them that are listening.
So that concludes our agenda for this evening. Based on some changes to the Design Review Committee makeup, we were asked to appoint a member of the Planning Commission to that, and Commissioner Pack has agreed to fill that for the next year. And that can be addressed early next year. Anything else for us this evening? comments? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Anyone opposed to that? We stand adjourned until February 17th, 2014. 15.